Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the Lunchtime News. I'm Jackie Wambiru. We begin with the stories shaping the day. Now, Nyandarua County is seeking to position its natural landscapes and heritage sites as key tourism attractions, with hiking, bird watching and cultural experiences identified as experiences with growth potential. Nyandarua Governor Dr. Moses Badilisha says the county is working to increase awareness of tourism attractions such as Elephant Hill, Lake Olbolosat and colonial era homes that remain largely untapped despite their ability to attract visitors and generate local revenue. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
Reflecting on our past processes and decisions, as we are doing today, enables us to sustain this journey of improvement. It's in our laws, institutions or procedures thrown into relief through these publications, and the discussions around them will provide an opportunity for improvement, for proactive mitigation measures, administrative, regulatory, and statutory. This way, we divert and resolve disputes before they get to court, simultaneously shaping the conduct of future elections. An institution is strengthened by its stability to learn systematically from previous experience. This stammering of mine. An institution is strengthened by its ability to learn systematically from previous experience. It is important to honestly examine our successes, confront our shortcomings, and continuously improve the manner in which we discuss our constitutional responsibilities. Today's launch is such a process, particularly for the IEBC, transforming institutional experience into institutional knowledge. And as we move forward together, it is paramount that institutional independence is just jealously protected, deliberately maintained. Every electoral dispute presents competing interests. Our objective as electoral justice institutions, however, must only be fidelity to the Constitution. From that, we must not depart. Independence is an institutional necessity for our legitimacy, and it depends upon public confidence that our decisions are based solely on the law, evidence, and constitutional principles. Not only does this strengthen public confidence in electoral justice, it reinforces the very edifice of our democratic legitimacy. Side independence is the important issue of timelines. Electoral justice operates within exceptionally compressed constitutional timelines. Unlike ordinary litigation, delays in electoral dispute resolution can fundamentally disrupt the electoral calendar, affect ballot preparation, create uncertainty for voters, and undermine confidence in the electoral process itself. Timely dispute resolution is therefore an essential component of electoral integrity.
Well, that is Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu speaking at the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission stakeholders meeting being held here in Nairobi. And now we will be bringing you the story from Nyandarua later on as we move on to other news where Kenya film industry continues to gain global recognition, with industry stakeholders expressing confidence in the country's growing creative talent. During the Moana live action movie celebration release in Nairobi, Budev Patel, managing director, Crimson Multimedia Limited, noted that the increased investment, international collaborations and the success of Kenyan actors on the global stage are creating more opportunities for the next generation of filmmakers globally.
The previous two films have been blockbusters, and now comes the live-action version of it, which is what people are excited to see. It's school holidays coming up. It also has Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who voiced the animations, and now he comes to life as Maui, Moana, and their two very, very lovable characters, Hei and Pua. The live-action version also has the famous songs that the world has loved and they're singing to, and this film comes to life with the entire Motunui Island, and the story continues. It is a live depiction, so the excitement of now seeing a different version of it is what audience are looking forward to.
It's a deep movie that teaches about family, it teaches about loyalty, it teaches about courage, it teaches about pushing for what you want, and you'll see it with Moana, the character, and a lot of the other characters in the movie. So it's a really wonderful experience for family to enjoy together, and bring these fun moments to Visa card holders and Kenyans as a whole.
National Liberal Party leader and Anzaoni clan leader Augustus Kyalo Muli has called on African communities to strengthen unity by embracing their shared cultural heritage. Speaking during Tanzania's annual 7.7 Cultural Festival in Shinyanga, Dr. Muli said traditional institutions have a vital role to play in promoting peace, regional integration and social cohesion across the continent. He urged traditional leaders to preserve indigenous cultures while fostering peaceful coexistence and stronger cross-border cooperation among African communities. Dr. Muli also called on the Kenyan government to formally recognize and empower traditional clan leaders, saying they play a key role in resolving land and family disputes through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. The 4-day festival hosted by the Sukuma community under the Busia Kingdom brought together traditional leaders and delegates from Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa and the Zulu Kingdom to celebrate African culture and unity.
Kama Afrika tungefanya hivi, if would unite, tukae pamoja kama jamii. Wasukuma hawako mbali kimila na Wakamba na Wabantu wengine. Hivi tukishikana sisi kama jamii moja, tutaonyesha Afrika kweli tunaweza kuwa familia moja. Tamasha kama hizi ni muhimu sana. And personally, I'm taking big lessons that we can do in our own country. We need to bring our cultures together. My first challenge will be to see how I can unite my own clan. Wakamba tuko na clan 22. Hivi tukikusanyika wote pamoja, we can be such a powerful community. Kwa hivyo mimi nimejifunza mengi sana, na hayo mafunzo ndio napeleka nyumbani.
In other news, the government, in partnership with the Embassy of Denmark and development partners, has launched the New Women Peace and Security Program, the initiative that is set to be piloted across 10 ASL counties, where recurring insecurity and climate-related conflicts continue to threaten lives and livelihoods, seeks to strengthen women's participation in peace building, conflict prevention and security governance.
Across Kenya's arid and semi-arid lands, the burden of recurring conflicts, climate-related shocks and insecurity continue to disrupt lives and livelihoods. Amidst the tides, women and girls are often hardest hit, facing displacement, economic hardship and heightened risks of violence.
Women are the ones who receive those who are involved in conflicts back at home, and women are the ones who take care of those who are affected by conflicts. And so the burden on women is really significant in the situation of conflict.
To cushion the vulnerable groups, the national government, in partnership with the government of Denmark and the Act of Change Transform organization, have launched the Women, Peace and Security Program that is aimed at promoting women's leadership and their participation in peace building and conflict prevention.
This particular program is just around 300 million Kenya shillings. So this is, you could say, this is a medium-sized program, but it's also something that is complemented by other engagements in our general program for Kenya.
The initiative that is set to be piloted in 10 counties, including Garissa, Samburu and Laikipia, among others, will empower the women, give them a voice and ensure they are not just victims of war, but are actively involved in shaping solutions to conflicts affecting their communities.
Already we have programs in place and to work towards ensuring that issues around particularly gender-based violence are taken care of, because that is part of peace and security. And through this multi-stakeholder approach, we are able to put resources together to ensure that every part of this country, every woman, every girl is protected around issues electoral violence.
This comes as stakeholders continue to push for enhanced women's representation across all levels of government. Maintaining their voices are key in shaping sustainable and inclusive policies on peace, security and development.
That women will be able to turn out in large numbers and fear-free to come out and vote. Again, women will have the confidence that there will be no gender-based violence when it comes through the electioneering period. And as they vie and as they turn up to go and vote for their favorite candidates, I believe that it will be a safe space for them to come out and engage as citizens of this country.
Particularly the timing right now, when a lot of women have been affected by violence and many conflicts across the country. It's a moment to advocate for women to get involved more, sit around the table as members of community, but also as individuals who have a right to speak for themselves on matters peace and security.
John Kahiro for Lunchtime News.
Kenya's northwestern region has for a long time been susceptible to prolonged drought that has pushed communities to the brink and left thousands of households grappling with food insecurity and high rates of child malnutrition. However, in Turkana County, through the cultivation of rare climate-smart yet nutritious orange-fleshed sweet potato, the communities are not only improving household nutrition but also building more resilient livelihoods. Beyond filling their plates, the initiative that has received major support from the Child Fund organization is slowly unlocking the region's economic potential, with women and youth groups processing the crop into value-added products, creating new income opportunities. The consumption of vitamin A-rich sweet potatoes has also significantly reduced child malnutrition rates from over 30% to approximately 19 to 21%.
Has
been biofortified with vitamin A, which is the beta-carotene that is a precursor for vitamin A. So purposely, this intervention is to combat malnutrition in specific counties like Turkana, and we are really encouraging everyone to consume our very own indigenous crops that are now more drought resistant, they are more nutritious, and they are more palatable.
Tunapanda viazi tamu, matawi yake ni mboga, alafu nini yake, makamba yake napatia mbuzi, napanda ingine, alafu viazi yake tunauza. Ndio tunalipia watoto, ndio tunakula. Kwanza kwa watoto hii viazi kwa watoto ni mzuri. Mnakula hata kama mbishi, napika anakula.
Na maji watuongezee kama kisima moja hata hapa. At least wakati tunapata laga imeenda chini. Hiyo itatusaidia sisi tuendeleshe na hii isikauke.
The family of slain High Court Advocate Edward Muthe Kariuki is demanding security agencies to speed up investigations into his murder as detectives intensify efforts to trace those behind the killing. According to the post-mortem conducted at Shalom Community Hospital morgue in Athi River, the advocate died from a deep cut at the back of his head, an injury doctors say gave no chance for survival. Athi River Sub-County DCI Officer Michael Boyo said detectives had applied for a court order to retrieve his phone call data to trace his last movements.
What I'm looking for is to see that all perpetrators of this act to a blood to book, because I don't see why you should kill such a young person.
This kind of incident is an incident that we really need as a nation to really address, and therefore our appeal to the authorities, the police in Athi River, the larger Ministry of Interior, it's important that we fix matter security in our area, largely across the nation.
The security of this area generally has been okay. Apart from in the recent past, we have seen a spiral increase of insecurity cases.
And attention now turns to the upcoming by-elections in Ol Kalou, where preparations are in their final stages ahead of polling day. Our reporter Kevin Washira is on the ground with the latest update on the level of preparedness.
Well, thank you very much. We are coming to you live from Ol Kalou, where we are keeping tabs with the ongoing parliamentary campaigns ahead of Thursday's by-election. And we are in Mokendo village. This is one part of the Ol Kalou constituency. And the brownish material that you are seeing behind me, that is Kanguo Dam, which has been, for the last 10 years, a source of stress for the people of this region and not source of benefit, given the number of hippopotamus that are residing in that particular dam. And joining me now is one of the residents who will be telling us of how the dam has been terrorizing them, or the hippopotamus that are in dam. Karibu sana KBC. Tuambie maisha imekuwaje hapa kuhusiana na zile kiboko ziko pale, utaangalia kamera, kuhusiana na zile kiboko zenye ziko pale kwa ile dam, zimeharibu ukulima aje na mnataka serikali isaidiaje?
Yes, kwa majina naitwa Francis kutoka hapa Mokendo. Ya kwanza ni kusema hizi hippopotamus zimeharibu sana kilimo. Kwanza ukiangalia kama hapa kuna mahindi zilikuwa zimepandwa, lakini sasa hivi unaona hakuna. Kwa hivyo hippos zimeharibu sana kilimo, na tungeomba serikali ziondoshe hapa, walete kitu kama samaki na bidhaa zingine za kutega samaki ili kilimo kiendelee na maisha yakuwe sawa.
Asante sana. That is one of the residents of Mokendo village here in Ol Kalou, giving his testimony of how the hippopotamus have been terrorizing farmers in this area. And today, the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife will be bringing a solution in this area. We are here waiting for the Cabinet Secretary to arrive. The KWS officers are also here. They've set up the perimeter wall that will be used. Maybe my cameraman can pan and see the trap that will be used by the KWS so that they can retrieve those hippopotamus and maybe transfer them to another place that is more suitable, and maybe rehabilitate the dam and make it more useful to the.
Well, many thanks, Kevin Washira there, reporting from Ol Kalou constituency ahead of the Ol Kalou constituency by-election. We shall be keeping you updated in our subsequent bulletins. For now, we move on. The speakers of the bicameral parliament, Moses Wetangula and Amason Kingi, have been barred from engaging in active politics, issuing conservatory orders this morning at the Milimani High Court. Justice David Mburu restrained both speakers from invoking or benefiting from the authority, prestige or influence of their constitutional offices to organize, promote or lead partisan political campaigns. The order will remain in force pending the hearing of the case, which has been set for July 16, 2026. And young entrepreneurs driving Kenya's fast-growing gig economy have emerged as a key target for financial institutions seeking to expand savings, investment and insurance uptake, with Old Mutual Kenya and its subsidiary Faulu Microfinance Bank taking their financial literacy campaign directly to traders and informal sectors workers in Mombasa. The two institutions say the country's youthful workforce, particularly those earning incomes through digital platforms, small businesses and other informal ventures, has enormous potential to build wealth through disciplined saving and long-term investment. Through the market storm activation held at one of Mombasa's busy markets, Old Mutual and Faulu engaged traders, small business owners and residents on a range of financial products, including savings, investment, insurance, working capital and asset financing, as part of efforts to deepen financial inclusion in the coast region.
We do this to support our intermediaries. We do this to engage further with our customers to understand their needs, and as such design solutions that are appropriate for that. That is why we're here today. We've done this in different markets. This is the third market we're doing this year. We've done it in other years before. We've been to different parts, and this is the second time I think we're coming to Mombasa.
It gives us an opportunity as a group to engage with our customers, the general public, the potential customers, as we get to interact with them and guide them on the solutions that we provide as a financial institution.
We want also to create awareness and ensure that our customers understand what we do as a business. So we provide financial solutions to our customers. From the insurance side, we do the risk covering. We also provide the investment opportunity.
Teso North Member of Parliament Oku Kaunya has challenged the youth to engage constructively with politicians and refrain from being used to disrupt public events. Speaking in Teso North as he met over 300 youth from his constituency, urged them to remain vigilant as the country prepares for the next poll, cautioning them against being exploited for political gain. He further called on them to enhance their skills and focus on courses that are in line with the changing labor market needs. The three-day youth engagement meeting was held at Achia Echakara NYS Institute in Malaba.
We should never use the youth because of the fact that they are unemployed. We use them to perform acts of goonism or violence. Let us use the youth for peaceful purposes. We have been able to take over 4,000 youths to various skills. That is true. A number of them or a smaller number have been able to get jobs because of the shortage of jobs available in the surrounding.
Transport has been paralyzed in the past 4 days in Machakos following a dispute between Matatu SACCOs over the terminus allocation. Some of the Matatu SACCOs are accusing the county government of Machakos of favoring other SACCOs.
Ile shida kubwa ambayo tuko nayo sisi kama wahudumu wa matatu SACCOs 45 ambazo zinahudumu kwa uwanja ni shida ya kwamba hakuja kuwa na fairness kwa mambo ya allocation ya slots. Na hiyo ndio jambo ambayo tumekuwa tukizungumzia, ndio jambo ambalo tulizungumzia last month, na kufikia kwa sasa hilo jambo halijaweza kutatuliwa. Na ndio maana mnaona bado SACCOs wameamua leo kutoa magari nje kutoka juzi, na mkiangalia ni hasara kubwa sana. Tumekuwa tukiengage ofisi ya transport waziri, lakini tunaona kuna ulegevu kwa mambo ya kutatua hili jambo.
Hii mkomo imetuaffect sana kwa sababu kutembea kila mahali unakuta watu hakuna, gari haina watu, saa nyingine kuna matatizo mengine kwa vile ukipita hivi unaweza gari inaweza kukugonga. Kwa hivyo hii mkomo imetuathiri sana.
Migori Governor Dr. Ochilo Ayako has cautioned politicians against politicizing healthcare services, saying negative public attacks on health facilities undermine the morale of medical workers and compromise service delivery. Speaking during an impromptu visit to the Migori County Referral Hospital, Governor Ayako said the county government has invested heavily in equipping health facilities with essential drugs, medical equipment and qualified healthcare personnel to ensure residents receive quality services. He also urged residents to enroll with Social Health Authority to enable them to access affordable treatment, adding that many patients seeking treatment are yet to register.
Current warehouse that we are using is well stocked with commodities that are essential and useful to the people of Migori, contrary to what political peddlers are uttering out there, that our referral hospital has stocked out and there are no medical supplies to attend to our patients. What we have observed about the patients is that most of them have not fully paid SHA. So their ability to meet their hospital expenses is hampered by the non-payment of SHA.
Well, we take a short break now. More news and updates when we return. Stay with us. Let's take the break.
Michuano ya kombe la dunia yanakaribia kilele na sasa ni kufa kupona. Farasi wawili wanaopatana ugani, ni mmoja tu ndiye atakayesalia huku mwingine akifunganya virago na kuelekea nyumbani. Je, ni timu gani itakayotwaa ubingwa huu mnamo Julai 19 pale MetLife Stadium? Jibu hili utalipata hapa KBC Channel 1, tukikupeperushia matangazo ya FIFA World Cup moja kwa moja kutoka Mexico, Canada na USA. Goal! They've done it! Pia unaweza kupokea matangazo haya kupitia stesheni za redio za KBC. Istoshe, kwa wale wanaopenda kuona mechi kupitia big screens, KBC itawatembelea mtaani kwenu. World Cup iko KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
I'm very happy that KBC is making it possible for Kenyans to watch World Cup. I'm still hedging my bets on the teams that are there. Don't ask me which one for now. Let's leave that one for another day.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Hello, fabulous ladies. Welcome to the talk show that's all about sisterhood, empowerment, and unfiltered conversation. We will be focusing on women. We believe in women.
We are really changing.
We are creating a safe space for women to connect, thrive, and share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show, it's a movement.
When they're standing, we need to stand out.
From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in their individual fields.
You have to have a vision.
You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real.
Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. An aspiring parliamentary candidate for Kibra has called for a shift from handout politics to skill-based empowerment ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking in the constituency, Mukaya Mobe said his leadership agenda will focus on promoting unity, creating jobs through manufacturing and entrepreneurship, and equipping young people and women with practical skills to improve their livelihoods. He said sustainable economic empowerment is key to addressing unemployment and improving living standards in the constituency.
Wengi wamekuwa ni watu wa handout. Wakija hapa ni kupea vijana 200, 300, na hiyo haitabadilisha vijana ama watu wa Kibra. Ile mimi kitu nimeleta ni kuwapea skills. Nimewaambia lazima tufanye manufacturing, production, tutengeneze vitu zetu kama wana Kibra, tukue na mambo yetu kama wana Kibra. Tunataka hii Kibra, ile takataka inaokotwa hapa Kibra iweze kuwa inatengenezwa viti, inatengenezwa masahani, inatengenezwa vikombe, ili vijana wetu waweze kuwa na kazi. Lazima tuequip wana Kibra na skills. Skills ndiyo itabadilisha wana Kibra. Juu kila mtu atakuwa ana kitu anaweza tengeneza na akauze, lakini hata tegemea kiongozi akuje kumpea 500, 1000 ndio maisha yake badilike.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly changing the creative economy, opening up new opportunities while also raising questions about originality, ownership, and future of creative work. We're joined by Joe Gweth, operations lead at Kelele Comics, to discuss how AI can empower young creators without replacing their creativity. Welcome, Joe, and to start us off, perhaps, how is AI changing the creative economy?
AI is changing the creative economy because of the amount or the change of agency with the way work is being done. As you all know that with AI technology, a lot of companies are outsourcing their work into AI, so there's been a lot of layoffs in jobs. And so the creative economy, we're also seeing a lot of creators, be it artists, be it designers, who are now delegating some of those functions to AI technology.
All right, perhaps many creatives worry AI will replace the artist, as you have mentioned. Perhaps would you describe AI as a tool, not a shortcut?
Definitely. AI is a tool, not a shortcut, and that's because I think the framework or the perspective now should be how could you use AI as a tool to improve your functionality, not one that can replace what you already do. And I think a good example is, take for instance, education, be it in the university, where you can decide to let AI do all your tasks, or you can instead use AI as a tool to guide how you go about your research. So I think it's just a matter of perspective and utility. Yeah.
When it comes to Kelele comics using AI, perhaps how is it helping young people to tell their own stories?
In Kelele Comics firstly is a creative program that seeks to develop teenage creative skills by developing comic books. And throughout this program, which is a 5-day program, they go through an array of training. So they get trained on storytelling, they get trained on comic layout, they get trained on flat planning, etc. Now, AI is just, as you mentioned, a mere tool, because AI comes towards the last bit of the creative process. So we wouldn't really say that we are using AI to replace the whole process, but we are using it as a supplement to build the creative's work.
And can a teenager with no drawing or writing experience really create and publish a comic?
Definitely. In fact, we have 5 published comics from our first pilot program that we launched in April 20 of this year. So if you go to our website, kelelecomics.com, you can be able to see our 5 pioneer comics that were done by teenagers ranging from the ages of 13 to 17. And this was done by complete novices, people who had no experience in the creative space, no experience in comic writing or AI tools, and now they're quite good at them.
Okay. Perhaps what skills do participants gain beyond creating a comic?
Participants gain skills such as script writing. So this can be translated not only into comic writing, but any other creative process. So whether to do now fictional writing or even to do theater plays, etc. And organizing of this can also be done through platforms like Canva that we'll be using to organize some of this graphic design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps, how is storytelling important in preparing young people for the future of work?
Storytelling is important because, in fact, just to add to your answer, to the answer to this, is we realize that in Africa, predominantly, most people are consumers of content. So what we're trying to do at Kelele Comics is we're trying to rewrite the narrative and ensure that we have our teenagers and the youth having a platform to tell much of the story to the rest of the world, not only Africa, but the rest of the world. If you look at other geographical locations like Asia, they have similar platforms or material like anime. If you look at North America, they have material that is produced by many of these big comic hubs like Marvel. But there's a dearth of that in Africa. So by creating such a platform, then we're able to ensure that creatives assert their agency and are not left in are not relegated to the bottom, but are instead put to the mainstream of creativity.
Okay. Perhaps what role do you see AI playing in Kenya's creative industry over the next 5 years?
AI plays, is going to play a big role because AI is here and truth be told, it's not going to go anytime soon. So I think it's just more of an adaptation adjustment. I think most of us need to learn how to adjust to the new development and, as I earlier mentioned, not completely use AI to replace human talent or creativity, but just use it as a tool to bolster what you already have and know.
As we come to a close, perhaps, what's your message to the young creatives who are curious about AI but don't know where to begin?
I'd say there's plenty of information. We live in the information age, so you can check out information on how to use AI. You can also check out our platform, kelelecomics.com, to sign up for our upcoming cohort in August, which was launched a couple of days ago. So this would be a starter if you want to get to learn how you can mix AI use and creativity.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That was Joe Gweth, Operations Lead at Kelele Comics. We move on to other news. The Office of the Controller of Budget is concerned over rising recurrent expenditure in counties, warning that excessive spending on operations is undermining development projects and worsening the pending bills crisis. Speaking during a post-budget forum organized by Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, the Office of the Controller of Budget, Research and Planning Deputy Director Cyrus Ondari said counties should strengthen fiscal discipline and redirect resources towards priority investments. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
Review from the Office of the Controller of Budget indicates that counties managed to spend 14% of their total annual allocation for development.
Personnel emolument, which is now resources used to pay salaries to employees at the account level, should not exceed 35%. I know there is a debate around that. Currently, we are doing about 52%. On personnel emolument as opposed to what the law stipulates.
Ondari says allocations to counties should strictly align with their actual resource absorption capacity while aggressively prioritizing development projects.
You find that somebody has been given a budget allocation of 100 billion, but they have only been able to absorb 30. So what happens to the 70? And this is the reason why you will see us going into supplementary budgets, reallocating, moving this one from here to there, and not really achieving it. So we really need to think about the capacity to absorb these funds so that if we know that you cannot absorb, then let's not give it to you.
ISPAC is pushing for mandatory recruitment of professionals across all public entities to enforce accountability and block systemic revenue leaks.
We are the custodians of the expertise or the experts who are charged with the responsibility of ensuring the accountability is done in these counties. We have the requisite skills, competences and experiences that are actually required for these counties.
Speakers at the post-budget forum underscored the need for deeper structural reforms to widen the tax base and boost collections.
And we want to extend what you can do on WhatsApp, not just what we had for employees. We want to extend it so that you can file a whole range of returns on WhatsApp. Then we are also upgrading iTax, and that upgrade will be felt by the time we come to April for the individuals to file. So the system will be more stable and better. And we are counting on you to start filing as early as June.
Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Nyandarua County is seeking to position its natural landscapes and heritage sites as key tourism attractions, with hiking, birdwatching and cultural experiences identified as experiences with growth potential. Nyandarua Governor Dr. Moses Badilisha says the county is working to increase awareness of tourism attractions such as the Elephant Hill, Lake Olbolosat and colonial-era homes that remain largely untapped despite the ability to attract visitors and generate local revenue. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
County is expected to host a cultural, tourism, sports and blue economy festival. Of what input is it for not only the county government of Nyandarua but also its residents? I'm Regina Manyara and I'm joined by none other than the governor, that is Dr. Kiarie Badilisha, to give us a scope into why this is important and what the county intends to do past the festival. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much, Regina, and KBC as a whole for visiting Nyandarua. I think you could not have come at a better time. We appreciate that our partnership with national government, we will be hosting the Cultural and Tourism Week. I can say this kind of engagement is late. It ought to have been done long time ago.
When we talk about tourism and culture, often we never hear Nyandarua mentioned in those particular circles. Why now?
People have not known that we are the only county with a highland lake in the whole of East Africa. The Lake of Brosat here, you will not find it anywhere else around 2,000 meters above sea level. Most of the lakes are down there. This one is up there. So we would want to market and tell the world, come and see a lake which is on top of the hills. The kind of animals that we are having here, the hippos, so many of them. In fact, if you go to our Aberdare ridges, we have this type of the biggest elephant in Kenya. But most people prefer maybe going to Mara or elsewhere. This is why we are holding this week, to come and tell people the story of Nyandarua. It is unfortunate that the story of Nyandarua has not been told for quite some time.
How do you intend to go about it?
Our foreign tourists, they're also tired of every time they come, they go to the same spot. Yet we have newer things and fresh things.
So you're calling for the diversification of the country's tourism portfolio to include Nyandarua County?
That is it. That is it. Like now, there's a story which we are already telling, and we have documented it, about the Happy Valley homes. You can't imagine that the first people to visit Kenya, they came to Nyandarua. The homes are still standing. We have 56 of them still standing. You know, some of the crops that those whites were planting when we were there, like the apples, our community call them kafagoho, because it was such a precious fruit. An African would say, whether I will be jailed or not, I have to have it. Those plants are still standing. They are still growing here. So, Legina, I want to say this is a very important time of the year. And I want to believe that our teams, both national and county, will come up with a story that can be told to the whole of Kenya, that can be told to the whole world, that Kenya is sitting on gold.
Someone who's never heard of Nyandarua in as far as culture and tourism is concerned, what would you tell them? What should they look out for?
But you cannot see it, no? Then we have our Boretum. Our Boretum is about 8 acres. It's near the town, and this is where we want to bring our investors because of what we were talking about accommodation. This is where we want to bring our investors to do 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, facing the Abadeas. And then the other thing is that the equator passes Nyandarua twice. This is a phenomenal thing. It's not anything that you can find anywhere in the world. Some countries, they don't know even about equator, and those who are lucky, it only cruises once. Here in Nyandarua, it cruises twice. At a place called Katimu, we have equator, and we have another one. So this one we associated with the other animal called what? Is it a leopard? Leopard. And then we have the 56 Happy Valley homes. That's the rhino. That's our rhino.
That is what the county government of Nyandarua, under his leadership, that is Governor Dr. Kyrie Badilisha, envisioned for Nyandarua County beyond the present and looking into the future. If indeed it comes to pass, we will be here to keep tabs. I'm Regina Manyara reporting from Olkalau in Nyandarua County for KBC Channel 1.
Well, thank you so much, Regina, for that report. Now, the government has rolled out a 10-year strategy to support local exporters maximize opportunities under the Kenya-European Union Economic Partnership Agreement. Trade Principal Secretary Regina Ombam says although Kenyan products already enjoy duty-free access to the European Union, businesses must improve competitiveness and compliance with market standards to fully benefit from the agreement.
Even though the Kenya-EU Economic Partnership Agreement offers Kenyan exporters significant opportunities, market access alone does not guarantee increased trade. The Ministry of Trade is challenging Kenyan businesses to improve productivity and quality of products.
We must deliberately position our businesses to seize the opportunities created by the agreement. This requires coordinated action by government, the private sector, development partners, and other stakeholders.
The 10-year implementation strategy involves improving sanitary and phytosanitary compliance, customs and trade facilitation, and support for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises.
We have to think out of the box for this. And the implementation strategy is our roadmap to see in which areas we can concentrate to get the firepower needed.
According to the International Trade Center, Kenya in 2025 exported goods worth $1.85 billion to the European Union, representing 21% of the country's shipments. Ndota Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Players in the financial services sector are leveraging artificial intelligence, data analytics, and digital credit tools to improve lending decisions, manage rising loan risk, and expand access to finance. Metropole Credit Reference Bureau CEO Gideon Kipiakwai says rising costs and inflation have increased pressure on borrowers, with lenders now relying on technology-driven solutions to strengthen risk management, reduce defaults, and promote responsible borrowing.
The human mind and a lot of the small tools that we've been using in the past, Excel sheet, R, or some programs, were limited in terms of looking at all this big picture of all the transactions you are using. Now with AI, it's able to do all this in a very short time and pick out trends about this borrower.
Where you can even understand and make decisions whether or not they should actually borrow, whether they should consolidate loans, and even the effect to their ability to pay based on all this information that we are getting.
And now on to other news. Intra-African trade is projected to rise from $230 billion in 2025 to $250 billion by the end of 2027, supported by the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and efforts to deepen regional commerce. Speakers at the Unlocked Africa Conference in Cape Town, South Africa, are calling on governments in Africa to tackle non-tariff barriers, slowing the movement of goods across the continent. O'Brien Kimani is attending the meeting in Cape Town and joins us for the details.
Broadcasting House. The Unlocked Africa Conference kicked off today at the Navarre Foundation here in Cape Town, and of course a lot of conversations on how to develop Africa and of course to increase intra-Africa trade, which by the way jumped to about 230 billion US dollars last year, and there are hopes that it is going to grow to about $250 billion by December 2027. Guess who is joining us here? And of course this meeting is organized by Standard Group, and Andrew Mashanda is the head of Africa Regions and Offshore for Business and Commercial Banking at Standard Bank Group. Is joining us here so that we can explore this topic. Thank you very much, Mashanda. Help us understand, when you cast an eye on the African continent, are there any prospects?
I think you're talking to the right person and at the right time. South Africa, by extension, is alive with possibility. We see Africa not as just distinct sort of, different markets, but we also see them as regions, but regions that offer very unique opportunities for investors. We also see Africa as a continent that actually is on the rise. It's a young population, productive population. We've got a technology boom that's coming across over the last 5, 6, 7 years. We've produced 9 unicorns out of Africa, from a fintech point of view, 5 of them out of West Africa. We've seen the massive movement in terms of oil and gas developments in West Africa, with Dangote opening a refinery. We continue to see the advancement of economies such as South Africa, Rwanda, Botswana, in spite of what's happening. We've also looked at the way Africa has evolved and adapted to the geopolitical tensions that are happening across the globe. And Africa is increasing trade. To your opening remark, intra-Africa trade is topping $230 billion now and heading towards 250. 47 countries on the continent have signed up to the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. And what we're seeing is that there is a concerted effort across all the markets across the region, where the governments are really trying to reduce the non-tariff barriers that have served as an impediment for growth. So we are seeing a greater effort in trying to increase value addition within the markets in Africa, but also increasing the volume and value of trade across the borders in Africa.
Very well. And, one of the biggest challenges, facing Africa in its development path is infrastructure and development. And we know that, the continent is facing a huge infrastructure funding gap. What are the opportunities on the continent?
I think we've seen a massive increase in infrastructure investment, particularly road infrastructure, because as you know, Brian, when you build a road in Africa, you build an economy. And we've seen in most markets the advancement that we've seen. If you look at Kenya, your own country, what's happened over the last 10 years in terms of how long it used to take us to move from the center of Nairobi to the airport. It used to take us hours if you were lucky. Right now it takes you 15 minutes. That is the power of infrastructure and the efficiency it brings. And time is money, so increasing the velocity of movement of vehicles, of transportation across this new infrastructure does indeed increase the velocity of trade. But also if you look at the investment that's taken place in soft infrastructure, that's taken place in terms of technology, the number of sub-terrestrial cables that have been laid across Africa, the improvement in the digital economy, the adoption of the digital opportunity by young people, by businesses, and also the advent of AI and the impact it's going to have on the African continent. So these are all dividends that will come out of an investment in infrastructure over the years.
Recently, you signed an agreement with the Bank of China to make a Standard Bank Group, a clearinghouse for renminbi. How is that going to define how we do trading with China, or how China and Africa, conduct their trade going forward?
China's trade with Africa has been on the rise for a long time. We have continued to be the leading bank in the Africa-China trade. And I think us being positioned as a clearing bank for renminbi actually helps us position our clients to be able to trade with great ease and taking out a lot of friction in the trade between China and Africa without having to channel all their payments through another major currency to get to China. So they can go directly through us into the renminbi and trade with China directly.
Mm-hmm. Anything else we need to know from you?
I think we're very excited to be back here again. This is not just a platform that we've set up for talking. This is an action-oriented platform. So we are looking at making some deals happen during this conference. So thank you for having us on your show.
Very good. Thank you very much, Andrew, for joining us, and of course for sharing your insight with us.
Sure,
you're most highly appreciated.
All right, thank you.
Well, we've been talking to Andrew Mashanda, Head Africa Regions and Offshores for Business and Commercial Banking at Standard Bank Group, joining us here to understand why this meeting is important and what we need to do to drive intra-Africa region trade, and of course how to address intra-Africa trade barriers. My name is O'Brien Kamani. Thank you for joining us. Back to the broadcasting house.
Well, the stage is set for the quarterfinals where France and Morocco are set to face each other. Well, on that note, we shall be bringing the bulletin to a close. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
It is not to be missed. Welcome everybody to Miami. It could be a great mismatch, of course. It could be Messi's match yet again in Miami. Argentina apparently marching on in defence of their title, so far without a single issue. On the other hand, it could possibly become one of the very greatest, if not the greatest, of all-time World Cup upsets. And you have the best seat in the house.
The Blue Sharks of Cape Verde rang rings around the FIFA World Cup are defending champions Argentina in their round of 32 match, where they were headed for the biggest shock in the World Cup history before an own goal by Dine Boggs gifted Argentina 3 to win in extra time to send them into the last 16. After that, a big scare from Cape Verde, who left a big footprint at the Miami Stadium with the best memories to savor in their fairy tale run in their debut, as the Messi-led Argentina survived to book a